it's Missy, and today I'm here to share with you guys my February wrap-up, for 2021. I am excited because in January I read 8 books, and in February I actually finished 7. Go me. So excited. So I did almost do all of the books that I wanted to read in February, so that I'm doing amazing on. I'm so excited. First book I want to talk about, well, I'm going to share with you guys what was on my TBR. Here's my TBR list right here. I'm going to share what was on it, what I read, what I thought of it, all of that jazz. I will leave the links down below for all of my Goodreads reviews for all of these books in case you would rather read it instead of watch me talk about it. But the first book that I wanted to read was The Green Mile by Stephen King. This was the Stephen King read-along pick that I host on Goodreads, and story of my life, I can never ever finish these Stephen King books. Because they're not I want to read them with the group, but also I've read almost all of the books that I am putting on these lists, and so I like being a part of the Stephen King read-along because I am the host of it, but I don't always read the books with the people, and I feel really bad. So this, I didn't touch it at all. I was talking about it in my February haul video that in the entire month of February, my husband and I saw 11 houses. We are house hunting right now in the worst time possible because none of the house prices, the list prices, are never correct. They'll list it for $450, but the house will sell for $560. It doesn't make sense. And so in every house that my husband and I have put an offer on, we're in a bid war, and because we're super poor, they're not taking our offers because there's too many contingencies and there's all of this other stuff. So tonight, in about an hour, we have to go see another house, so wish us luck. But yeah, so I never got to this book, and I feel really bad, and I'm sorry to those that are in my group. If you finished it, you are amazing, and I am not. I have watched this movie several times, and I know I'm going to love the book itself. I just didn't pick it up. But I also was going to read another book for the Buzzwordathon, and that was the Ballad of Black Tom. Now, the Buzzwordathon's theme for the month of February was color, and black is in the title. I did finish this book. This is also a part of the series Around the World, or Horror Around the World, and I did start that off back in April or May of last year, and I started off with black authors. So I only have one more book to read for that series before I can actually give you my thoughts and reviews on black author horror writers. And this one was actually very surprising to me because it's not so much a straight horror like we're used to with jump scares. It's an old kind of horror because it does have Cthulhu in this book, and just by looking at the cover, you would never know that. Does it even say it on the back? It doesn't. So if you like H.P. Lovecraft, Cthulhu's in this story. It's the old world monsters. So we have Charles Thomas Tester, or Black Tom, and he is a con artist who lives in, where does he live? Harlem? Yeah, he lives in Harlem with his father. Now, his father is old and sick, and he used to be a musician and taught Tom how to play the guitar. But because they live in a poor neighborhood and it's hard to get jobs that pay the kind of money that Tom really wants to be paid, he has to trick people into giving him money, or he does cons, or he does things that's illegal. Like, for instance, at the beginning of the book, there is a woman called Ma Ada, a very old woman. She's searching for a magical book, and she pays him a lot of money to get this book and bring it to her house. And then while he's doing that, he meets a man. He is Robert Sidham, and he's an old, like, eccentric man. Sidham's family has hired some detectives to follow Robert to see if he's senile, so that way they can have him committed into a hospital, and so he can lose his property and all of his stuff, so that way they can have it. And so Robert is having Tom come in and play music for all of these people that are like the ruffians of the city, because Robert wants something, and Tom has like a supernatural ability that Robert can sense. And so it's very weird. It's very weird, because there's this, like, it's like a historical fiction with like this weird culty kind of thing. Not cult, a cult thing. And then there's the Cthulhu, and then there's like this police that are trying to like capture, and there's like racism in here. And at one point it really made me angry, and I put this in my updates while I was reading this, but there was two things that happened that really bugged me, which is very accurate. So we have a woman who's being interviewed about Tom Tester, and she said that she saw him going into Ma Ada's house, and she was afraid for her children's lives because he's a black man walking around in a white neighborhood. That's like I wish I had like a crank on my eyelids so I could flip them upside down to roll my eyeballs. Like, it's so annoying. Oh, he's black, so he must be a murderer. He's gonna steal my babies. No, that's not true. But that's how people think back then, even maybe today. That's not how I think, so it drives me crazy when I read about it. But that's what happened. That was a racist kind of thing. Also, the cops were like, you can't be in this particular place at nighttime because we'll pick you up for doing things that you're not supposed to do. I believe he was in Queens, and he's not supposed to be there because he's a black man. He can't be in Queens after dark. So that was annoying. And then there was another bit in here where the police rushed in and they shoot somebody. They shoot this person to death, right? They did like 36 shots. The police officer said he emptied his weapon, reloaded, and then emptied his weapon again because he felt he was in danger of his life. He said that he thought the person he killed had a rifle or a weapon on them. Okay? But when they went inside the room all the way, it was a guitar. Which makes me go to, I watched John Oliver's newest video on police raids, and it's just like in this book. Oh my God. If you don't like John Oliver, if you are politically on one side or the other, I don't like talking about politics on my channel because everybody's have strong opinions on religion and politics, and you can't sway their ideas because they have a particular, lane they're following, and nothing that you say logically will affect them. They are set in their ways and you can't change their mind. But I was watching John Oliver's latest video and seeing how often police barge into people's houses and shoot to kill and then find out that they're at the wrong address, or that the person isn't even there and they killed people and there's no consequences, drives me crazy. It drives me crazy. How can we possibly live in the 21st century. It's 2021, and police can just go into your home, steal your stuff. I mean, they have a warrant, but the judge doesn't even barely look at it. He just signs it so that you get out of his hair. So a judge doesn't look to see what he's signing. He just signs off on it, according to the show that I watched, the video. The police go into homes with the search warrant, but they don't double check the address. They don't surveillance the house to see if the perpetrator or the person that they're looking for even lives there or interacts at that address. They just barge in so they can break your door, kill you, steal your stuff. There's no consequences. Nothing happens to them. And so that drives me crazy. And this book was good, but it also, I hate reading about race. I hate it because it's like, it's so frustrating. I get so worked up. All right. So I did finish that one. I'm on a tangent now. All right. The next book that I was supposed to read was A Cuckoo's Calling, or The Cuckoo's Calling. I still haven't picked this up. I've been working on this for years. It's by Robert Galbraith or J.K. Rowling. And yeah, I didn't pick it up because I had 2 books for my graveyard bookshelf pick. And I did tell you guys I wanted to read Edgar Allan Poe's Tales of Mystery and Madness, illustrated by Gris Grimley. And so I did. I did complete this book from my graveyard shelf. So it does count. And now I can read the newest book by Mindy McGinnis, even though the cask of Amontillado, whatever it's called, is not in this one. This book, though, I don't know why I still have bookmarks in here. This book contained, let me double check, it contained The Black Cat, The Mask of the Red Death, Hop Frog, and The Fall of the House of Usher. Now, I've read Fall of the House of Usher like 4 or 5 times in my life, but I had never read the other ones, and so I was very interested in what these stories had to offer. So The Black Cat was very fun. I wonder if Stephen King got a little bit of Pet Sematary from Edgar Allan Poe's The Black Cat. Now, I listened to Stephen King's like author's notes before every single book that I read. He has it in his audiobooks, and he also you can also read it in his books. He always has like an author's note on when he wrote the story, why he wrote the story, what influenced him. I don't remember him talking about this, but it's very, very similar. So, okay, it's not similar. I lied. There's cats that come back to life. That's similar. So we have this cat, okay? And we have this man. We have this man who doesn't love anybody but his cat. And then he starts feeling like, I don't want to love this cat as much as I do. I don't want to be burdened by love because, you know, everything dies or whatever. So it really makes him angry. And so he decides he's going to maim this cat. So he digs the cat's eyeball out. All right. I don't know if that's a trigger. I mean, this is a cartoon cat, and it's a fictional story. But he digs the cat's eyeball out, and now the cat is like really afraid of him. But the cat loves him anyway, and he's still trying to get affection. And then the guy goes, I don't want to love this cat. And so he goes and he kills his cat. He hangs the cat. And these pictures are just amazing. I love them so much. If you can get a book with Gris Grimley's illustrations in it, I highly recommend. So yeah, he kills the cat, but then another cat ends up showing up on his doorstep, and he thinks that the cat is a different cat. But as a reader, we can tell the signs, because the cat has a white collar around his neck. Like the cat's all black, but then his collar is white. And his previous cat was all black, and then he hung the cat. So the white is the noose around the cat's neck, right? And it came back. So the cat plays tricks on this man, and he gets his comeuppance. So that was fun to read. The next story, let me talk about the next story. What's the next story called? The next story is called The Red Death. Now, there is a plague of some sort where people are getting infected. And so this man who's really, really rich decides that he's going to wall up his property because he doesn't want to get the plague like everybody else has. Kind of what's going on right now. So he invites 1,000 of his closest friends and allies and relatives and all this stuff into his castle, mansion, whatever. And the cool thing about this story is that every single room has a color and a theme by the glass in the rooms. So the mirrors have some kind of colored film on them, and that's how you get the blue room or the green room or the red room, and it casts a certain feeling and emotion to each room. And so there's a party going on, and something happens, and this weird person walks through. It looks like the Grim Reaper, but in a bloody shroud, you know? And then the people are all like, oh no, they're freaking out, and I don't want to tell you about the rest of the book. But my favorite bit was the colored rooms. And then there's Hop Frog, the third story that I've never read by Edgar Allan Poe. And this is about, look at these illustrations. You can see the figure 1, figure 2, figure 3. This is how the guy walks. So it's about a king who has his jester come and entertain him. So we have this jester here. He is a dwarf. And then we have his companion dwarf, this girl here. Is her name Cassandra? What's her name? Oh, I don't know why I said Cassandra. Excuse me. Her name is Tripita. She's also a dwarf, but she is proportioned, so she just looks really tiny. She's just a tiny girl. And they are best friends, and the king is being obnoxious, and Tripita doesn't want him to get hurt, or the jester, and the jester plays a trick on the king, and the king is, I can't remember if he dies or something, but Hop Frog is the dwarf's name, the jester in the castle. I love Edgar Allan Poe. I love his writing. I love his stories. I love the macabre aspect to it. I love the gothicness, the weirdness to it. I love the way the vocabulary just flows out of your mouth. I am definitely looking forward to reading the original of the other book. I can never remember how to say the title, so I'm not going to, but I will be reading the original hopefully very soon. If not this month, next month. So that book was for my graveyard shelf. And then I read 3 published books from the publishers. So I'll show you that. And I already did reviews on all of these books, so I will leave the video link down below if you're interested to learn more. But I read This Is Not the Jess Show by Anna Carey. This was sent to me by Quark for, an honest review, and I think I gave it 3.5 stars. And if you liked The Truman Show, then with Jim Carrey, then you're gonna like this book. And hey, I didn't realize both of their last names are Carey. I don't know if she's related to him. She's probably not, but that's cool. And then we had these 2 books that I was sent to by K Publishing. These are both murder mysteries. They both have, no, I was going to say they both have serial killers, but that's not true. This one is a serial killer named the Hairdresser. He shaves his victims' heads, and all of his victims are prostitutes. Obviously he kills them because they're serial killers. He's a serial killer. And then he kills them. And then we have this one here. This is also written by a German author, and so it's set in Germany. And then we have this one here, Spoils of the Dead. Liam Campbell is an Alaskan trooper, He just moves to Bluestown, Alaska from another part of Alaska, like, I don't know, like an hour away by plane. And when he gets there, right even before he starts, because he keeps telling the town members, oh, I don't have my uniform because I don't start until next Monday. So he's not even really on the clock when he's introducing himself to the town as the new trooper. And he already has a murder mystery that he has to solve. And I thought all 3 books were just okay. They were all around the same star rating, all around like 3.5 stars. They were all engaging, all interesting, but they all had lackluster endings that I just, you know, I wasn't like excited about the endings. So there was that. Thank you so much to those 2 publishing houses for sending me the books for an honest review. All right, and then the last book that I finished in the month of February is The Fireman by Joe Hill. I told you guys at the beginning of the year that I didn't want to read any books that were under or that were over 250 pages. I wanted to save hunkers like this till the end of the year, but Ashley and I decided that we were going to do surviving books for our theme for the next 3 books that we were reading. And so this was our adult survivor fiction book, and this is the reason why I did not finish the Stephen King book, because Joe Hill, his son, took up my life. I mean, this put me in the meanest reading slump. This book, I have read every single book. Oh, okay, not every single, almost every single book Joe Hill has written. I have read his graphic novel series, the Lock and Key graphic novels. I have read Horns. I have read Nosferatu, wherever you are from, either the US or the UK. It's spelt a little bit differently. And I have read 20th Century Ghosts. Now, this is his newest written book. The only other book I haven't read by him is The Heart-Shaped Box. The Heart-Shaped Box I have not picked up yet. This book was 747 pages. This book took me so long to read. It took me the entire month to read this book, and I listened to it on audio so I would feel like I could like process it better since it is such a chunker. I like to read my really thick books on audio. That way I can be doing something else. Now, I'm giving this book 3.5 stars. I'm very disappointed because all of the books that I've read by Joe Hill so far has gotten 5 stars from me. And this one just wasn't it. I didn't mesh well with it. This was just such a long, arduous book to read. And I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about this book later because we are running out of time and I do have to get to that house viewing. So there will be a future Missy later on today, probably looking more disheveled than now. Hello again. So my hair is atrocious, like always. We just got, well, it's been hours since I was talking about Joe Hill and the Fireman. So let me get back to it. Before I do, I left you guys hanging. I went and saw a condo today, and it was priced at $355,000, which seems pretty cheap. However, it was 1,100 square feet, $400 HOA for a pool that is maybe the same size as a pool you would regularly have in your backyard. And our beautiful views from our bedroom windows were kind of dingy parking lots across the street. There was a laundromat, a liquor store. Supposedly there's a new Sprouts that has been built. The condo was from 1974. It said it was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, but it was really a half bath downstairs in the kitchen. and a full-size bath upstairs with the 3 bedrooms where we would all have to share the same bathroom again. I mean, basically, the house was 100 square feet bigger than the apartment that we live in now. And why would I want to spend like $5,000 a year in HOA fees for something that is essentially a glorified apartment? No, thank you. I was telling our realtor, who's also my friend, that I feel like I'm being ungrateful, but at 40 years old, I turned 40 this month, and I don't want to settle for a house I don't like just because I want to fit in with all the other adults and have a house. You know, I've waited this long. I think I can wait a little bit longer. If I had the balls, I would buy a 160-year-old house like Ariel Bassett, and I would renovate it myself, but I don't have the funds or the energy or patience for any of that. And Ariel is probably at least 20 years younger than I am. Anywho, The Fireman. I said how I read all of, or most of Joe Hill's body of work. His body of work. Is that how you say it? Yeah. So I was very disappointed with this book. And I think I also said before I left that I gave this book a 3.5 star. Now, for the almost 800-page book, okay, a lot of stuff just logically doesn't... there's just so much like stuff that I just hated from this book. One, it was incredibly long. I mean, the thing that's different between Joe Hill and Stephen King is, of course, Stephen King has more experience. He's been writing longer than his son has. His character development is way better. Like, if you want just a character-driven book, go for Stephen King. If you want, like more plot-driven, ambience, like world technically building, you could read Joe Hill. So, how do I explain this book? Okay, so there was a breakout of a Chinese virus, which kind of sounds similar to what we're going through right now, except for this virus is called Draconius yada yada yada, aka dragon scale. And what that means is that if you catch dragon scale, you end up getting like a filigree tattoo on your body of essentially what it looks like is burn marks all over your skin, like charred. Like, it almost looked, it sounded like, you know, when you start a fire and the wood is smold, like at that glowy stage where it's not really ashing up all that smoke anymore. It's nice and black and orange, and you know what I'm talking about, right? So that's what that's what the people look like, but there is an ability to control it if you control the virus bacteria itself. So according to the logic in this book, the bacteria / virus, I don't remember what it was, I guess it's a virus, has kind of like a brain. And so you can placate this brain by singing, kind of like Fluffy in Harry Potter. You sing to it. You can sing to it out loud, or you can sing to it internally. But basically, it's kind of like a letting go, a meditation, if you will, where you're lulling the virus and making it one with you. Whereas then you can then use the virus to your own personal gains. So, one, at the beginning of the virus, people were just, human combusting. They were just catching fire and causing a lot of damage. If they caught fire, then the things around them caught fire. So towns were all ablaze. But once you got control of it, once you knew how to keep it calm, you can put fire in your hand and use it and like throw fire or make fire fly. You can manifest a phoenix, a giant dragon-like creature made of flame. And so I thought that whole part of this book was so fun to read about. I loved reading about the dragon scale, but the situation that people were in was just driving me crazy. So obviously, God, my hair is just, ugh. So obviously, we're talking about what would happen globally. This doesn't talk about globally, it just talks about the United States. But in the United States, this would absolutely take place. So we have the sick and we have the healthy. The healthy is not interested in how the sick people are actually contagious, like how the virus is spread. They don't care. If you have dragon scale, you're shot on sight. So there are groups of people called the cremators, maybe? I can't remember. I think that's what they're called. But anyways, they just go around in a group and they just slaughter hundreds of thousands of people who have dragon scale just because they are afraid that they will get it too. Now, this book came out in 2017, I believe, 2018. Could you imagine if right now, today, if you knew your neighbor had COVID and you just walked into his house and shot him just so you wouldn't get COVID too? It's like insanity. I can't believe. And it's not, to me, it doesn't seem like this is very fantastical. Like, I truly believe humanity sucks so much at this time in our lives that they would be that exaggerated and just shoot people on sight because they don't want to catch something deadly. And since the government didn't stop these people from just annihilating everyone, people just continued to do it. They were applauded for doing that. Now, we have a host of characters in this book, and it's a cult book, which I hate reading cult books. Occult, O-C-C-U-L-T, totally fine. I love reading about psychics and tarot cards and palm reading and all of that stuff. The supernatural, amazing. Cult, where you brainwash people, I hate reading about that because it drives me crazy that people are so gullible that they will allow themselves to be persuaded into something that doesn't seem logical. Like, please use your science brain. Use your head when something is going on. Look around you and see if this actually makes sense. Are you comfortable in this atmosphere? Why are you still doing it? I mean, maybe that's just me. I have no idea, but it's just... So, our main character's name is Harper, which is funny because I read a bunch of Harpers in the last 2 months, just the name itself. So to have this main character's name Harper is pretty funny. I think this is the third or fourth character this year that I've read that was named Harper. So Harper is a nurse. She's about 25, 26, and she lives with a man named Jacob. That's her husband. But her husband's an asshole. And I read a lot of books where the husband is an asshole, and it makes me sad because I know there's good guys out there. Please talk about the good guys. So Jacob is you know, essentially the worst creature imaginable. His wife, Harper, is a nurse, and when the pandemic hits, she volunteers to work at a hospital to help the sick people. And eventually she catches it, and her husband fakes that he has also caught it, so that way they can have like a tandem suicide. But basically what he wanted to do, according to what I've read, I think that his main idea was just to kill her. I don't know. But he plagues her the entire book. Like, every time you think, oh, they got rid of Jacob, they're hiding somewhere, he's never going to find them, he finds them again. Throughout the entire book, Jacob is always around the corner, like lurking, like the big, huge, big bad wolf monster. And I'm thinking, isn't the virus the bad guy? Why do we have Jacob just constantly in revenge mode? Like, what did his wife do that was so horrible that he has to follow her until he kills her? You know, like, why does he have to pursue that when there's lots of things that you could do at the end of the world? Why waste your time on revenge? I don't know. There's things that people like, and I guess revenge is one of them. I don't know. So we have Harper, and she gets pregnant with Jacob right before or right after she catches the virus. And so Jacob's really, wow, this book is heavy. Jacob's really interested in just killing her off, killing the baby. He doesn't want to deal with any of that stuff. And she hears about a safe haven at this old camp. Camp Wyndham, I think, is the name of the place. And she gets there, and there are a whole bunch of people, but it's very culty. And then the leader of the cult gets sick, and his daughter takes over, and she is the most culty of them all. She allows her followers to, like, do things that's inappropriate. At one point, Harper says, you know, Harper's the logical person in this book. She's like, I am not going to put a stone in my mouth and carry it around in my mouth and be silent. That is so barbaric and medieval, and I'm not doing it. This is the 21st century. What? No. And they're like, okay, well, we'll just stone you to death. And it's like, she's a pregnant lady. And I didn't even like Harper. Like, I didn't like anybody in this book besides the fireman, and even the fireman was a dick. Like, he was very egotistical, and he wanted to prove himself and be like the cool guy and show off. And there's a time and place for that kind of stuff, but not at the end of the world. I mean, I'm not in their shoes, so I don't know. But basically, I didn't like any characters in this book. It dragged on for centuries. Every time I thought they were going to be okay, they weren't. Again, it just dragged and dragged and dragged and dragged. And then the ending happened, and it was kind of relief at the end to find out what happens to the survivors. But at the same time, I was just so disinterested. I had I think it was 3 chapters left when I started kind of skimming, and I never skim, but this book I had to skim. I had to skim twice. I had to skim during the part where I thought that they were going to torture Harper and the fireman, and I didn't want to read about stoning a pregnant lady to death, and I didn't want to watch someone get lit on fire like a witch in the 21st century. I didn't want to see or read about any medieval crap, you know? And then so, yeah, the book was just okay. I don't even know if I want to keep this. I feel like I don't, just because I'll never read this behemoth again. But at the same time, I like to collect stuff. But at the same time, I don't want this. But at the same time, I'm pretty sure somebody bought this for me. one of you beautiful friends of mine on YouTube bought this for me for my birthday. I'm pretty sure I got this as a gift. I know for a damn fact I didn't buy this. And that's my dilemma. When you guys gift me something, either in a trade away or because you're lovely and you send me something for my birthday or Christmas or whatever, I feel like I have to save it forever even if I don't like the book. Do you feel like that? Like if you're, you know, your grandma or a family member buys you like a sweater or something odd that you'll never wear. It's hideous. Or you wore it or read it or used it and you just don't like it anymore. Like I feel like it's rude to give it up and throw it away. But this is such a big book and I didn't like it. I mean, it was okay. The ending made me cry, but that's just because I cry whenever there's like a sappy moment that has to deal with children or love. But I don't want to talk about love because I try to keep love out of my videos. I'm not a black heart, I promise. I just think ooey gooey stuff is kind of ooey and gooey and bleh. I'd rather read about horror stuff. Anyways, it was just okay. The very last book that I finished in the month of February is In the River by Jeremy Robert Johnson. Now, I read this for a year-a-thon readathon. In the year-a-thon readathon, the theme was to read an author that is new to you. I have never read Jeremy Robert Johnson, and so I wanted to pick it up. Maddie did tell me that she sent this to me, so thank you so much, Maddie. What did I think about this book? I still don't know if our main character is from South America or Africa. There is a man, and he takes his son, his only child, out fishing. And while they're out fishing, a shark eats his kid. That's so depressing. And so the entire book, he's trying to get revenge on this shark. Now, this is a freshwater shark. The child was eaten in the river. At first, I thought it was like just a big fish, but then later on in the book, there was like this witch, this Cujo. What was her name? Cuja? C-U-J-A? Oh, yeah. C-U-J-A. A Cuja maybe. So it's like a witch doctor or a witch or something. So basically the father is really upset at the shark. He decides that he can't go back to his wife because his wife will be so depressed without her son. She already said, if we ever lose our child, I will kill myself. And the father, who is never named, believes that it will be safe to think that both of her son and husband died and she'll be able to move on instead of knowing that her son died and not her husband and then trying to kill herself. Like, his logic on running away kind of makes sense in a overwhelming anxiety kind of thing. Like, what do you do when you know that your loved one is going to be so heartbroken in a situation? Like, how do you solve this problem? And so he decides he's going to hunt for this shark, and he is on this very long journey, and then he meets this like witch woman, and she kind of like fixes his arm, and she goes, you can go ahead and get the shark. I'm going to make sure that you are able to capture the shark. And so that's what the man does. So, like, that's the whole story. It's very, very short. It's 140 pages, maybe? 137 pages. All it is about the man and his son and the people that he meets on his way to killing this shark. And that's it. It's kind of like Life Aquatica with Steve Zissou. whereas he only wanted to catch this leopard shark because it killed his best friend. And I feel like that was the whole plot of this book. Now that I've read all, I think I had a kind of crappy reading month. They were all very like mediocre. This one I'm giving like 3 stars. It was okay. There wasn't like major emotions attached to this book while I was reading it. I felt kind of bad for the father, but his actions didn't mesh with my ideals. Just the way I am. And if you believe in like astrology or birth charts or any of that stuff, maybe I am like all of that stuff. But I'm just kind of free, you know. I'm pretty laid back. I don't let a lot of things get to me. Things that I can't change, I don't let it affect me. I brush them off. So when I read about people who are the opposite of me, I'm always like perplexed. Why are they acting like this? Don't they know that that doesn't matter? We all die in the end. There's no way we're going to stay alive. So why do you care? We all naturally move on to another plane, another existence. If you believe in reincarnation like I do, we're going to come back and we're going to see the same people all over again. Maybe in a different form. Maybe my husband will be my best friend or my father or my child, you know, but I'm going to see all these people over and over and over and over. So I have attachments, obviously, but at the same time, I don't let a lot of things bother me and get to me. So when I read about this kind of stuff, I'm like, you guys are exaggerating and overly, you know, being weird and crazy. And again, maybe it's because I have never been in those kinds of situations. If my child was eaten by a shark, I don't know. Maybe I would seek revenge and want to kill the shark. But at the same time, the shark is an animal and they don't have thought. They don't think, oh, I'm going to eat this child to be mean to this father. They saw a meal, they saw food, and they reacted. I'm a Debbie Downer right now, aren't I? Sorry. All right, so basically, in the month of February, I read 7 books, so 1 less than last month. Bravo to me. I'm very excited about how much I got done. I was surprised because I did read, or I finished 3 books on the very last day of February. So thank God for that, because I was like, oh no, I didn't read enough books this month. I'm always trying to challenge myself every year to do better than I did the year before. And so I did okay. 7 books is good. Yes, so that's it. Let me know down below what you read in the month of February. Did you have a better experience than I did? Because I wish I had a better experience. All the books were just okay. Nothing super amazing. I did like the Edgar Allan Poe. I gave that one 5 stars because I'm biased, but also because I really like Edgar Allan Poe's writing. But I think that's the only 5-star I gave this month. Maybe if I would have read The Green Mile, I would have given that one 5 stars because I know I would love the book since I loved the movie. And that is it. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hey, before I go, let's film me scratching off the countries on my map. I wanted to do that in January, so let's just do all of them. Well, yeah, who cares? I was gonna, so here is my map, and I'm going to, so the first book I read, I don't know where this is from. I'm gonna have to look that up. The Fireman took place in New York? Did it take place in New York? Placid New England community collapses in terror. Oh, all right, we're going to skip those 2 books. This absolutely took place in Alaska. That's one book I can scratch off my list. Do I have a... I do. I have a penny right here, and it is from 2020. Wow, the year that nobody cares about. Perfect. All right, let's sketch. Do you want to see this? Let's see if this works. Can you see that? Kind of. Let's try to zoom in here. Whoa, whoa. This isn't working. I don't know. It's going to be crappy regardless of how I do this. I don't have a table in my room. Oh, it's so easy to scratch off. I'm so excited. I was reading a bunch of like reviews on Amazon for a whole bunch of different maps, and a lot of them complained that when they tried to scratch off from the map, it ended up being like super messy, or it scratched off the underneath part and it didn't match. But this one was really easy. Remember, this is Global Walkabout. Let me see if... wait, there we go. Global Walkabout. And it's the A3... Wow, I am terrible at this. A3 World and US Scratch Off Flags Matte Black. So, I got this off of Amazon. I'll leave the link down below if you're interested. I don't know. So that one was Alaska. This was set in Germany. We have the package. So let's find Germany. Germany is in the United States, or at least in our school system. We really don't pay attention to any other countries besides ours. Not really. I mean, I knew Germany was in Europe, and this is just going to make me sound super dumb, but I didn't actually remember, like, where it was located. I know that Russia takes up almost all of, like, the Asia section, but I forgot Germany, like, kind of touched France. So, there's Germany, and their flag is yellow, red, and black. That's cool. Alright, the Jess show was in New York, and so we have an itty-bitty New York here. Oh, can you see it? Kind of. An itty-bitty New York here, and there we go, an itty-bitty New York. Edgar Allan Poe, this doesn't count. This takes place in New York as well, so that's basically that. And then, what did I read in January? I read Vesper Sands. What is it called? The House on Vesper Sands. And that was in England, so I can get rid of the United Kingdom. Can you see me? Barely. There we go. United Kingdom. Alright. There we go. What else did I read? I also read The Man from the Train, but that was all across the United States, so I'm not going to count that. This is my always fully booked, and I do have what I finished. Alright, so I read, where is my January? Alright, reading wrap up. I didn't even finish it. Missy, what the hell? Where is my phone? Hi. My phone was in my pocket. Yeah, that was my eyeball. My phone was in my pocket that whole time, not in my pants, but in my hoodie. Somehow I couldn't feel it. My, I'm very disappointed in myself. Alright, in space, that doesn't count. My Neighbor Totoro was in Japan. Where did my... There we go. So, Japan is right here, and Japan's right here. So I'm just going to scratch out the entire dragon, because truthfully, why not, right? I mean, I'm not quite sure where the book takes place. So I just scratched out all of Japan. And Japan is that white flag with the red dot for the sun. Okay, next, what else did I read? I read The Room, which took place in Sweden. Sweden is up here. Sweden is right next to Norway. So it's in the middle. Nope, right? Here we go. So we have Norway here. And then we have Sweden, and then we have Finland. But I'm just going to scratch out the entirety of Sweden, because it doesn't do it by, like, towns or anything. Alright, so we have Sweden. Okay, there's Sweden. Yay! Go me! Alright, what else did I read? I also read Shiloh. Shiloh takes place in West Virginia. So, I'm gonna... Can you see that? There we go. I'm gonna take out West Virginia right here. It's very tiny. Alright. And then, Who's There took place in Indonesia. So, oof. So, like... Can you see that? Like this whole section right here is Indonesia? Where does it stop? I think all of these islands are Indonesia. Philippines start. How many islands does Indonesia have? I don't know. Alright, I think that is all of Indonesia. Siri, Who Am I was in New York, and then up to this point, can you guys see that? Yeah, I'm going to take out all of California, because, again, it doesn't do it by, like, city or anything. So there's California, and then Sundown Motel happened in New York as well, and yeah. That was the world map. One is just as easy to scratch off as the last one, which is, you know, a goodness. So we have California there. Wow, you weren't even watching me do it because I wasn't even in camera. There we go. That's the state flag for California. And then again, I read Alaska. Can you see that? No. Okay. And then I also read I read about West Virginia because of Shiloh. That was last month. And I read about New York. Books that I read, it took place in New York. And again, I'm not going to take out the entirety of, where am I? This was West Virginia, and then I also did New York up here. I'm not going to take the entirety of New England just to satisfy the Fireman. So, I think that's it for now. I read 4 states in the last 2 months. Alright, so that's done. Let's put all this back in the little doodad here. Look at that. Look at how... You can't see because I'm too close. Nope, that's way too close. Alright, so here we go. Here's the tube, and here's me. Look, the tube goes in. Nope, that's not it. Why can't you try a little bit harder? Huh? Okay, let's roll it up better. Make it small, make it small. Alright, there we go. It fits. There we go. I'm all done. Yay! Okay. Well, that's it. I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your week. I hope you had a great reading month in the month of February, and I will talk to you guys soon. Bye!